Thanks for pressing play. I'm going to be talking to you this week by myself, unfortunately, about great comics hitting the shelves November 13th, 2013. Usually I would say, and this handsome devil is, but this handsome devil is not here. Randy, my co-host, is out due to illness, and we wish him the best. Our positive thoughts and prayers are with him for a speedy recovery, because we love having him here on the videos with us, telling us about great comics like I am about to attempt to do now. But guys, again, thanks for the turnout for the mega sale. It was fantastic. It was one of the best mega sale events that we've ever had, and we have you to thank for it. Also, our subscriber count has been growing, and I have failed to say thank you for that. If you are a new subscriber, thanks for subscribing. Share the word, because we're talking great comics every week, trying to inform you and tell you about great stuff to check out or that you should be reading if you aren't already. And the subscriber count has been growing. To our current subscribers, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for being a subscriber. We really appreciate it. This probably won't be as long of an episode as it usually is, but I will still have the MP3 down below for you to download, listen to on the go if you want. So you can just drop down there in the description box, thumbs it up, subscribe if you aren't already a subscriber, and download the MP3 from our website if you would like. Guys, another great week of comics is hitting this week. Some big events are still going on, so we're going to talk briefly about those. A ton of new number ones, and then some of our favorite comics that we love to read and tell you about as well. But let's start it off. We still have the Forever Evil event going on at DC Comics, and this week we see two major issues along that storyline. And first off, let's talk about Justice League of America number 9. We got Matt Kent and Doug Mahnke here as the creative team, and we saw in the last issue that Martian Manhunter actually found out where the Justice League was, where they had been taken to, and also one of his teammates from the Justice League of America was also there with him. In this issue, though, we're going to find Martian Manhunter surviving that experience of finding where the Justice League was, as well as rescuing his team member that is there with him. But how are they going to cope with returning to a world that is ruled by the crime syndicate? That's what we'll find out in this issue, Justice League number 9. Also, along with that, we're going to have Forever Evil Arkham War number 2 hitting the shelves. Tomasi on board here. We got Scott Eaton as the artist as well. And guys, we've told you before, Tomasi is a fantastic Batman Gotham writer. And with this series, we're going to see that the balance of power is shifted. The Scarecrow is trying to take over Gotham, but could this be the most unlikely hero of Gotham ever? And we're talking about Bane may actually be stepping up to the plate to overthrow or dethrone Scarecrow with this Forever Evil Arkham War series. So guys, Forever Evil is flying off the shelves, the tie-in issues, and especially the Forever Evil miniseries that are coinciding with it have been flying off the shelves, particularly Arkham War number 1. So guys, get on board this, get this series, be on top of the big DC event that's going on right now. And another one that I'm going to mention that has been going on throughout Batman, we're still in Gotham now, but Batman 25 hits the shelves, and we are still hip deep, I guess you could say, in the Batman 0-year event. Issue number 24 was a huge, spectacular, oversized issue with fantastic artwork by Greg Capullo, who is killing it, and Raphael Albuquerque is doing the backup story in the back, all written by Scott Snyder. We got to see in the last issue where Bruce Wayne and Batman faced off against the Red Hood gang and the consequences of that conflict. With this issue, we see Edward Nygma, the Riddler, trying to step up to the plate, possibly throw Gotham City into darkness. And this is the next phase of this Batman 0-year storyline. You don't want to miss this. This has been some fantastic work. Fantastic work. Every page it just looks phenomenal. The story keeps you going throughout. With that last issue especially, we saw the origin of someone that is very familiar to us all. And I want to see what Snyder and Capullo are going to do with Riddler going forward with Batman 0-year. Also, guys, there's a couple issues that will be hitting this week along the lines of the Marvel's Infinity event, just a couple of tie-in issues. And there's another 1 or 2 tie-in issues to the Batman 0-year Randy's the best with those kind of details. I don't have all those for you, but be on the lookout for those because they will be on the shelf this week. That's it for the big storylines, guys. Let's move on to some number ones because we've got a lot of them, and some of them are some pretty big ones to really. And I think I'm going to start off with what may be the biggest one for this week, and that is Valiant Comics bringing us Unity number 1. Toya Harada has gotten together some of the superpower people of the Valiant Universe because a threat has arisen that he thinks that needs to be taken care of and taken out. And he is gathering the Eternal Warrior, Arbinger, all these characters that are major players in the Valiant Universe to come together with one goal in mind. And that goal is to kill X-O Manowar, who apparently has taken up some type of major role here in the Valiant Universe that Toya Harada does not agree with. If you are a Valiant fan and love what they've been doing with the reboot of their universe, this is going to be an ongoing, do not miss series that you should have in your pool list. Written by Matt Kent with fantastic art by Doug Braithwaite, who we've seen his artwork in many titles, and Matt Kent, of course, like I mentioned, he's doing other stuff like Justice League as well. Top-notch talent for probably the biggest number 1 release for this week. Also, guys, we got Boom Studios bringing us Protocol number 1. I wanted to mention this because I thought it was actually a pretty cool or pretty interesting idea. Protocol number 1 by Michael Allen Nelson, who we've seen his work at DC, and artist Mariano Navarro. This is the story of orphans in the United States that are handpicked by the government military to actually become secret spies within the United States military. I thought it was an interesting concept. Number 1 will be hitting the shelves this week, and now that they have grown up as adults, they're living among us, and now we have to see how they survive in the regular real world, having been raised as orphans into super spies. Will they assimilate? How will it be for them? I thought it would be interesting. You should check it out. We have tons of Injustice fans here, and the Injustice Gods Among Us annual number 1 is hitting this week. This is a huge issue because Superman kind of has to bite his tongue a little bit because he needs help against a super-powered Harley Quinn. And who does he call on for help tracking her down and taking her down? He calls on the help of Lobo. So this should be a fun annual for you to check out, especially if you are an Injustice Gods Among Us fan. From Image Comics, we also got Manifest Destiny number 1. This is by Chris Dinges and Matthew Roberts. This is the untold story of Lewis and Clark as they set out to explore the uncharted American frontier, coming down here to Louisiana where we are. But what they find along the way isn't just swamps and water and brush and marsh. They find monsters, and this is like basically the untold tale, the true story, I guess you could say, of what Lewis and Clark found on their expedition years ago. So, should be a fun series. Preview pages look really good online. I'm checking it out. I hope you do as well. Also, guys, the event is upon us now, and we are seeing the start of the Ultimate Universe, and we have another series going along with it that starts this week, and it's Cataclysm Ultimate Spider-Man number 1 of a 3-issue miniseries. And I'm looking at Brian Michael Bendis and David Marquez, regulars to the Ultimate Spider-Man title. We'll be doing these 3 issues as well. Miles Morales has had to deal with a major loss of a family member and the other things that are going on with his personal life in the Ultimate Universe, and now Galactus is here. So what will he be able to do? Will he and Cloak and Dagger, who are also going to be a part of this miniseries, what will they do? Will they make a difference to this apocalypse that's coming, that's happening right before their very eyes? We don't know. This is the beginning of the end of the Ultimate Universe. This is another series that you will want to read that is going alongside that. Also, guys, years ago, Marvel had the bright idea to bring on a couple of talented creators to do an imprint at their studios, Marvel Knights, years ago, headed up by Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti, and now they're bringing that back. Marvel Knights X-Men number 1 hits the shelves this week. It's by Bram Revel, and we see Wolverine, Kitty, and Rogue set out to rescue some mutants from being murdered. And the thing that you really have to take a look at with here, the question is, what happens when your past comes back to kill you? Bram Revel has been known to do some other stories that are intense. He's writing and drawing this particular series, and this is a bit more of a darker tone series than what you'll see with other things that are going on, specifically for the Marvel Knights line. So if you liked Marvel Knights back in the day, check out #1 of this 5-issue miniseries, Marvel Knights X-Men #1, hitting the shelves this week. And guys, to wrap up our #1s, I got a little bit of a buzz about this being announced when I posted it on our website and on our Facebook and everything. Some people seem pretty excited about this hitting the shelves, and if you are a Joe Hill fan, then this is going to be your week, because we have Wraith, Welcome to Christmasland, #1 of a 5-issue miniseries, hitting the shelves this week, written by Joe Hill. If you've read his New York Times best-selling novel, NOS 4A2, then you were introduced to the terrifying funhouse world of Christmasland and to the main character there, Charlie Tennant Max Manx III. Those fans of horror and what Joe Hill did with the novel will be able to see that in a 5-issue miniseries hitting the shelves starting this week. Horror fans, rejoice. It's happening. Enjoy. That's it for the #1s, guys. I'm going to talk to you now about some of our favorite titles that we like reading month in and month out that you should be checking out if you aren't already. And I'm not going to take too long on these, mainly because I don't have Randy to chat with about it, but we'll still have a good time going through these. Superman Wonder Woman #2 hits the shelves. In issue #1, we saw these star-crossed lovers fall in love and start something of a life together, but only to be threatened by Doomsday showing up before the end of that issue. And here in issue #2, we're not going to see so much that threat being addressed as the threat of Wonder Woman's friends, family not really approving of her making Superman her boyfriend. How will she handle that threat? I don't know. Charles Soule, Tony Daniels on the art. Check it out. That should be interesting. For that to be more threatening than Doomsday, I can imagine so. Also, guys, Walking Dead 116 hits the shelves. If you read 115, you saw how tense it was, what Rick was facing, how he faced Negan, and what Negan pulled out, the ace up his sleeve that he had at the very end there. And now, all they really want to give us for these solicits is all out war. It's all out war. What's the next step for Rick? That's what I want to know. Hopefully, we'll find out. Apparently, this is going to be the first battle that starts with this issue, and there's going to be huge ramifications. This is, guys, if you're collecting The Walking Dead, remember, it's coming out like every 2 weeks right now. We have several issues in a row. I think approximately 10 or 14 issues where it's going to be bi-monthly, 2 issues a month for this entire storyline. Get on board. One of our favorites that we love to talk about, Manhattan Projects #16 hits the shelves. Jonathan Hickman writing, Nick Pitaro on the art. Issue #15 was off the chain because we have been seeing the Infinite Oppenheimer storyline that's been going on, and this is going to be part 2 of that. We saw in the last issue where Robert Oppenheimer and Joseph Oppenheimer are still trying to fight for the Oppenheimer psyche, I guess you could say, with what's going on with that civil war going on inside the mind of, and how Robert Oppenheimer decided to change some of his strategies to win. And that was super, super good. This is one of those series, guys, that you should be checking out. It's smart, it's interesting, it keeps you engaged, and keeps you guessing as well. Here with issue #16, we're going to see if the war is still going on for Oppenheimer's brain and what the consequence of the Oppenheimer Civil War will be. Check it out. Avengers Arena 17, Dennis Hopeless, Kev Walker. The last issue we saw how the remaining Avengers students or hero students were on the beach and how things were falling apart. But then we also had some of them actually down inside the inner workings of this death trap that Arcade has made for them all, and they faced him as well. Of course, he always has something, an ace up his sleeve as well, I guess you could say. But now we're going to get to see the surviving contestants on the island, who's going to fight, who's going to live from that. Also, the ones that are down with Arcade launch an attack against him as well. Will they be able to defeat him? This is the next to last issue. We got 17 and 18 wrapping up Avengers Arena before we launch into the next series, and we'll have more information about that for you later on. Guys, Savage Wolverine 11 hits the shelf, written and drawn by Jock. This has been a great storyline that Jock has brought to us with Savage Wolverine. Loving it. The mood, the style, the story, the pace of it has been fantastic. And now, with the end of the last issue, we saw Wolverine show up in this place with a bunch of kids that, are they clones of him? Or is someone experimenting with his genetic makeup to make these kids? And where exactly is he? At first you're thinking that maybe he's somewhere out in space on a different planet or something like that, but it's actually pointing more and more to the other direction. Like maybe he's like super small. Maybe he's the other direction. If you've been reading the series, you'll know what I mean, but you should still check it out. We got this issue and one more to go to wrap up this storyline, and I'm excited to see the next chapter with issue 11. Superior Spider-Man 21 hits the shelves. If you've been reading this and been watching our videos, I've been telling you that this has been a great series to check out. Dan Slott is just going all over the place. Everything that he said that he would do that you should be watching has come true. I mean, he's like, check out 19, it's big. Issue number 20, and now we're moving to issue number 21, which sees the return of Dr. Octopus's lover's Stunner, as she returns to find Spider-Man and take him out because he killed Dr. Octopus in her mind. She has no idea that Doc Ock is now Spidey, so we'll get to see how that turns out for both Spocky, as we like to call him around here, and for Stunner. Thor God of Thunder number 15 hits the shelves as well. Fantastic storyline going on. Jason Aaron has got such a great writing grasp of Thor, and we went from one storyline right into another one with art by Ron Garney. Fantastic artwork. And now Thor is leading up the League of Realms to find Malekith and take him out. But with this issue, we may actually see the death of one of the members of the League of Realms, and how will that affect everything that's going on with Asgard, Jotunheim, all the realms. I don't know. We'll find out, and I'm expecting it to be great because so far everything has been great with Thor. So that's just my opinion, but I hope you enjoy it. Last but not least, guys, Wolverine number 11, Paul Cornell and Alan Davis, writing the Killable storyline. Wolverine has been hanging on by a thread here for the past several issues since his healing factor has been jacked up, if not completely missing, and now he's facing off against Sabretooth's 13 Ninjas, Silver Samurai, and Lord Deathstrike with this issue. And they're saying that this is going to be a game-changing issue for Wolverine. Maybe it will be, I don't know, but I know that he's been put through the ringer with this storyline so far, and we still got a couple more issues to go with it. Check out Wolverine at his most vulnerable with these current issues of Wolverine. Check out issue number 11 as well. And guys, that's it for this week. Short and sweet. I guess I don't have quite as much to say because I'm by myself, but we do the best that we can, and we'll see Randy for the next video as well. Thanks for pressing play. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. We love comments, guys, so tell us what you're reading. Tell us what you're most excited about. Are you going to be picking up any of these new number ones that I mentioned? Unity, Protocol, the Injustice Annual, any of those? Tell me about it in the comments below, and be sure, guys, to give us a thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you aren't a subscriber. Hey, and like us on Facebook. Like our Facebook page. We post daily there as well. That wraps it up for this week, guys. I'm about to head out here and go read some comics. I suggest you do the same. Take care, and we'll see you next time.